Hey there, everyone. It is time for another episode of Thursdays Beyond the Forecast with me, Chief Meteorologist Erik Kostrzewa. Got a little bit of a different show this time because of the threat of weather tomorrow. Also wanted to break down the forecast ahead. That will be first, and then we will jump into what is ahead for spring and summer with La Nina returning, what we can expect precipitation-wise, severe weather, and also temperature-wise. Now, we're going to jump right in to the forecast here. I'm going to get the background out. And I'm going to start off with the wind advisory. So we have that wind advisory that is in place. I'm going to actually put something back behind that so it doesn't look terrible behind some of the graphics. But when it comes to the wind that we have tomorrow, we have our first wind advisory of the season. This is going to be from Friday at 8 a.m. to midnight Saturday morning. So that roughly about 16-hour time frame that is going to be highlighting those stronger winds. The worst of the winds will be in the afternoon and evening. They will subside for the last couple of hours of the alert, and the first few hours of the alert won't see as strong of a push of wind, which we'll show you here in just a moment. Want to make sure that all the necessary headlines of this wind advisory are taken care of. Let's see if my computer, well, it's not responding to me. So that would be fun. It's always interesting when you go live, everything decides to not work. And yet, when I was doing all the trials and tribulations beforehand, and there it goes. So we're going to try this again. 1 second. Live TV. Even though we're not on TV, I could just stop this stream. But I'm not going to do that because it is easy to pick back up here in a moment's notice. But overall, going to be a very windy, dreary, gray, rainy day. Wind chills are going to be in the 30s. We'll see air temperatures in the 40s. Not going to be a great Friday, especially after the start of the week where we had 60s and 70s, had some sunshine. We are going to be seeing less than ideal conditions tomorrow. Here are those headlines that I was talking about a little bit earlier. So we got those very strong winds tomorrow, some of the strongest we have seen so far this season and so far this year. Gusts between 45, 55 miles per hour. Strongest winds will be as you get closer to Lake Huron and the Thumb and the Bay region, less friction over the water. So less of that ground, less of the buildings that are able to kind of mitigate some of those stronger winds. You get less of that friction. That air is able to be channeled over the water, and that's where you get some of the strongest winds, and they will be across the area in the afternoon and evening. It even stays breezy as we get into our Saturday, less so 45 to 55 mile per hour winds, but still will be on the higher side, some gusts 30 to 35, not out of the question. So here's a breakdown with the several hours we have tomorrow. Between 8 a.m. and noon, we'll see 30 to maybe 40 mile per hour gusts. Then we go into that 40, 45, 50 mile per hour range for most of us as we get into the afternoon and evening. And then for the last couple of hours of that wind advisory, 30 to 40 miles per hour. As we get towards about 3 to 6 p.m., that's where some of the strongest gusts will happen. We'll see potentially some of those gusts upwards of 55 miles per hour. And that would potentially lead to some scattered power outages, some downed tree limbs. We're starting to see some stuff grow. So that could lead to maybe a more enhanced tree damage potential for some of the strongest wind gusts, tree limbs coming down, things like that. So we'll watch out for some power outages tomorrow. We'll watch out for the impacts. If you have trash day tomorrow, your trash cans are probably going to be long gone by the time you get back home, if not in your neighbor's yard, down the street, down the road, things like that, as those stronger winds take hold and take shape. Now, what is exactly pushing this wind event tomorrow? So we have some colder temperatures that are settling on in from the north. This is going to allow for a low that's pretty much right around here. When you think about a figure skater and they are spinning around slowly, but they start to bring their body in a little bit more. They bring their hands in and they start to spin faster and faster. So that's what's happening with this colder air. As it pushes on in to the low, it starts to spin the low a little bit faster. And that's where we get the deepening of the low. And we start to see some of those stronger winds actually channeled into the state of Michigan. So we're going to be seeing that. Or even as you're out on the playground, you have the merry-go-round and you've got a couple people on there, and then you continue to push it. You continue to push it faster and faster. That's what's going to allow for those stronger winds, the deepening of the low, kind of the same situation that we have here. We also have a lot of rain that will continue tonight. So we've already seen about a half of an inch to an inch of rainfall today. We'll see another half of an inch to an inch of rainfall tonight into tomorrow. And some of those spots that could see about 2 to 3 inches still going to be here east of Interstate 75, especially into Thumb, where some of those heavier bands of rain will set up tonight. You can see a lot of rain by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We will continue to see that band of rain just kind of sitting over the area with those stronger winds. So even as the temperatures start to warm up a little bit, rain is going to bring down some of those stronger winds to go along with the temperatures in the 40s. And we may even see a couple snowflakes mixing in with the rain across Roscommon and Ogemaw counties. Iosco County, you're a little bit too close to Lake Huron, so probably not going to see that. But as we get into our Saturday, things will quiet on down. We'll see some sunshine for the first half of the weekend. Second half of the weekend, a little bit of a different story. Could have couple showers and storms out there, especially early on. And then as we go into next week, we see a flip of this pattern. The jet stream that's going to be off to our south tomorrow will shift back off to the north next week, and that means 70s on the way for most of the extended forecast outside of tomorrow and Saturday. But Saturday is going to be around 60. We'll be around 70 Sunday and Monday, and then into the 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe even Tuesday night into Wednesday, we'll watch out for the potential of some of those storms. And that could also bring a severe weather risk with just how much of that heat humidity is going to be in place. Because even those overnight lows only going to be down into the 50s. So when we have overnight lows in the 50s, you know that humid air is in place. It's able to mitigate some of those colder nights when you get a little bit more humidity in the area. And we are going to see at least some of those warmer temperatures during the day as well that could potentially fuel some of those thunderstorms. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to add to stage what we are going to be talking about for the actual show premise. So this is going to be everything encompassing spring and summer when it comes to El Nino, La Nina. So we're still in El Nino, but overall we're likely going to shift to La Nina as we go into the summer. And that has impacts on what the summer will have. El Nino, La Nina, a little bit of a different story when it comes to what we usually see during the spring and summer months. We want to first talk about the flood risk because we are getting into mud season. We have a ton of rain out there right now. But overall, as you can see, this is from the National Weather Service. They're not really expecting a whole lot of flood concern here this year, mainly because winter was below normal in precipitation. We had below normal snowfall. We didn't have any snowpack really as we went into March and, of course, here into April. Now, soil moisture is running around normal. We'll probably be a little bit above normal after today's rainfall and tomorrow's rain. And, we'll see if we add a little bit more to that next week. And that could start to lead to some rivers at least a little bit above normal. But overall, rivers are around normal to below normal. Not seeing a whole lot of issues when it comes to the flood concern from what is already out here. Now, if we get 1 to 2 inches today, we get 1 to 2 inches a couple days next week, and then we get another couple inches the following week. That'll start to put some stress out there on those area rivers and streams. But overall, the outlook for the rest of the season, below average chances, minor flooding, moderate to even major flooding, not necessarily expected. But if you get an event where you see a couple thunderstorms moving over the same area, 3, 5, 7 inches of rain in a day's time, that's going to be more of a flash flood risk. And that's where we would start to see some issues with flooding here this spring and summer. Because it will likely be an active spring and summer as we go into La Nina, which I'll show you here momentarily. As we get into the 7-day forecast, 6 to 10-day outlook, you can see, and I'm going to zoom in here just to give you guys a better look at this map. This is also from the National Weather Service. 6 to 10-day outlook with our temperatures. We are likely going to stay in that warmer air, April 17th to the 21st. But check out what happens as we get into April, the last week of April, 8 to 14 days out, or the last couple of weeks of April. We could start to see below normal temperatures, which would be more 40s and 50s. So instead of the 60s and 70s. So something that we will be watching for as we get towards the last week or two of April. And we also could see, with precipitation on the other side, a little bit more of a near normal to above normal stretch of precipitation. As we go towards the 3 to 4 week outlook, this may be more so talking about early May. We do have a really good shot at above normal temperatures 1 month out. Of course, that's here for April. We're already seeing above normal temperatures, but as we go into May and June, we're likely going to continue that trend of above normal temperatures as well. The only hazards in the 8 to 14 day outlook will be heavy precipitation off to our south, not necessarily anything of our concern. And for the seasonal outlook, April 1st through the 30th, we're not expecting any drought concerns as well. So overall, things are going to be fairly minute when it comes to any issues with severe heat or cold, and then also flooding, rain, drought conditions. Not really going to be seeing anything like that that we necessarily need to be concerned with as we go over the next couple weeks to next couple of months. So that is not any of our concern. As I was mentioning, we are likely going to shift into La Nina. And here's that outlook right here. So as we get into more so May, June, July, August, September, that's when we're going to start to shift in the La Nina, neutral to La Nina. And then for next winter, it's likely going to be a La Nina winter, which would be more cold, more snow. So we're likely going to shift from the warmer temperatures we had this past winter with El Nino back to a cold, snowier pattern as we look into a La Nina winter. So spring and summer will likely be warm to above average. And then as we get into winter, things will start to cool on down. And we'll get back into more of that snowfall for the snow lovers and for the skiers and snowboarders out there. So over the last 10 summers, I'm going to show you more so La Nina here on the right side of your screen. So the last 10 La Nina summers, this is temperatures compared to normal. When you get into the lighter yellowish greens, the yellows and the oranges, that's above normal temperatures. So we see that swath here for much of the United States. On the West Coast, it's a little bit cooler than normal. And even toward the East Coast, it's more so normal to maybe slightly below normal with those temperatures. So in the midsection of the country, Great Lakes here, Midwest, we're expecting above normal conditions for the summer. And then for the rainfall, it's likely going to be near normal to just above normal with that rainfall. So overall, expect this spring and summer with La Nina arriving as we go over the course of the next several months for it to get a little bit more active, more thunderstorm chances, more severe weather opportunity, and also more of that summer heat and humidity. So don't expect a cooler summer and don't expect a quiet summer. Expect more of a hot and humid summer and also more of that thunderstorm activity, more severe weather that could potentially happen. So we could see an above normal severe weather season as we go into May, June, July, August, September. So keep a very close eye on that. And we also could be talking about more of the heat and humidity as well, making its return. So I think that's all that I wanted to discuss when it comes to La Nina, El Nino. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm going to add our 7-day forecast back to the stage. This is kind of how we're going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me about this topic. But overall, as we were mentioning, things could get pretty active next week. Could be our first severe weather event that we really need to pay attention to as we get into our Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see how that storm ends up shaking out. But we have the showers and the wind tomorrow. I'll go back to the wind advisory. Everyone is under that wind advisory. And that is going to be from Friday morning to about midnight Saturday morning. So that 16-hour time frame. We are going to be talking about at least the potential of those stronger winds. And when we talk about a wind advisory, below high wind warning criteria, which would be 55 mile per hour winds and above, some spots in the thumb, if you achieve 55 mile per hour winds, they could put a wind warning, high wind warning, but overall 50, 55 mile per hour gusts, not out of the question area wide as we get into tomorrow. So that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to, well, can't do that. If I remove myself, you can't hear me. So there are the graphics. Hopefully you guys can still hear me over the graphics. This is how we're going to wrap it up We hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will talk to you guys again next week.